We're talking about embracing masculine vulnerability. And this is how you can unlock true strength and connection. We're going to be diving into this episode of the Happy Hustle Podcast. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Cary Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee-yee! Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson openly shares about his struggles with depression, and his vulnerability allows him to connect deeper with his fans. What's up, y'all? My name is Cary Jack, and I want to share with you about embracing masculine vulnerability today and how it can truly unlock strength and connection. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, author, and founder of The Happy Hustle and top 0.5% globally ranked podcast host. And I also host something called the Montana Mastermind Epic Camping Adventure, where we take high-performing, male, heart-centered entrepreneurs deep into the backcountry wilderness, where we mix business with pleasure and digitally detox in nature's glory. And what's cool about this experience is it creates a container that is so safe where guys can be raw, real, and vulnerable. And really, I am so shocked every time how much men need a container like this that's safe, that they can be their authentic selves. So I want to share with you how you can actually embrace masculine vulnerability. For all my fellas out there, this one is definitely for you. But if you're not, necessarily a male, but, also a female who is more alpha, this could be for you too, where you just, really embrace the vulnerability of the feminine divine, will you? But before we get into that, I want to share a quote with you from vulnerability expert Miss Brene Brown. And she says, vulnerability is not about winning or losing. It's about having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. So today, we're going to talk about vulnerability. I know it's a little tough of a topic, but it's important when it comes to happy hustling, that systematic harmonization of ambition and well-being. The well-being part is all about being real, being yourself, being loved and lovable, and giving love. And that's why I'm going to talk about this. So I know it might seem a little off, but stick with me. I'm telling you, this would be beneficial for you. All right. So let's just define vulnerability first and foremost. It's all about being open and honest about our feelings, fears, and insecurities. See, many people think that vulnerability is a sign of weakness, but in reality, it's actually a sign of strength, and it takes immense courage to be vulnerable. If you are a male, especially who has a business you run, a family, a wife, or a lot of responsibilities, you feel pressure to hold it all together and not show this weakness, not be vulnerable, not communicate openly your fears and insecurities. And, sometimes we just suppress it. And truly, that's just not healthy. That's not happy hustling. We need to be, honest about where we're at so we can seek support. So a little context here, traditionally, men have been taught to suppress their emotions and man up. I know my father was all about, if it's not bleeding, I don't want to hear about it. And if it is, go tell your mother. So, for me, I grew up like men don't cry, kind of getting that old school, ethos, will you? And these outdated norms can be detrimental to mental health. So changing the perspective, I think it's more important now that we look to embracing vulnerability and redefining masculinity at large. I'm not saying we have to be soft, nor should we be soft. However, I am saying, we should be able to communicate our emotions and have people that we can be our authentic selves with. So that's why, this Montana Mastermind Epic Camping Adventure is so unique, is because we're in the wilderness. There's no cell phone service. There's no distractions. There's no screens. We actually take everyone's phones. we're together for 5 straight days. I mean, we're eating together, we're sleeping in tents next to each other, we're taking a dump in the woods. You really get to know someone out there. It's like not a transactional business conference. You're really getting to know someone. And guys are crying, guys are releasing their heavy emotions, their this pent up frustration, personally and professionally. And we get into, the depths of what might be holding them back. My buddy Kaysen, who was on the recent Montana Mastermind, said, you know, you either work on state or strategy typically at masterminds. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming. But I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure-free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions, guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that The Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode. And although we worked on both state and strategy, you have to fix state, like your physical and mental and emotional state, before you can work on strategy. And so that's why I think it's important to embrace this vulnerability. Take an honest barometer, will you? A metric of where you're at right now. And then you can overcome it by having support and seeking advice. All right. So let me just kind of talk about how this can reduce some of the mental stress and anxiety. There's benefits around this, as well as, emotional resilience, but just being open about your feelings can alleviate a lot of pressure. A lot of people maintain these facades and wear masks, and this is a really great way to overcome that by just, again, being real. Vulnerability also helps build emotional resilience, making it easier to cope with challenges. So if you are in a challenging state and you're being able to be real with yourself and others, you can, have resilience from that, knowing that you're being in 100% in authenticity. You also can build much deeper connections, because authenticity fosters trust and deepens these relationships, both personally and professionally. Also, you'll gain empathy and understanding when you're more vulnerable, sharing your struggles and inviting others to do the same. You become this safe space where you can listen and learn from others. And then also enhance personal growth. Increasing that self-awareness. Being vulnerable leads to greater self-awareness and personal growth. Definitely, every time I share and real and raw, I learn and I grow, and I also get to learn from other people's and their adversities and how they've handled it. But I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't know what they were going through, and vice versa. And then authentic leadership is really one of the most powerful takeaways, because when you are vulnerable, you breed this authentic leadership style that really inspires others to be open and honest. So these are some of the benefits of embracing vulnerability. Now I want to talk about just some practical steps to actually embracing it, because, I like to get tactical on these podcasts, not just like talking whimsical theory. Oh, vulnerability is nice. I get it. It's tough, as men especially. So let me just give you the steps, okay? 1, start small. Share minor insecurities. Begin by sharing small insecurities with trusted friends or family. That's just a nice little jumping off point. Then you want to practice active listening. Listen to others' vulnerabilities so that you can create a safe space for mutual sharing, right? Then you want to seek support, therapy, counselors, stuff like that. That stuff is really helpful to just embrace your masculine vulnerability. Consider professional help to navigate your emotions and, build vulnerability in that sense. Also, support groups like joining men's groups or women's groups, communities with openness. That is, really powerful. And also when it's encouraged to be vulnerable. Specifically, like I always do my best to be vulnerable first so that I can open the container and let people know it's safe. Obviously you want to share scars, not wounds. That's one of a rule of thumb when it comes time to go in public. Scars, not wounds. Let that heal. But when you're in a private setting where you're being surrounded by safe spaces and safe people, you can share those wounds to hopefully turn them into scars. And then communicate openly, having honest conversations with loved ones about your feelings and fears. This is huge. And then expressing gratitude, showing appreciation for others' vulnerability to reinforce positive behavior. These are just some of the steps. So start small, seek support, and then communicating openly. Those are just 3 practical steps to embracing vulnerability. All right. So that's pretty much the topic that I wanted to cover, just covering this in a sense that, gives you permission to be your authentic, real, raw self. The key points here is just embrace it, take action towards getting a support group, finding a container that you can really be yourself and get help. I think this is going to just create such a better experience.